Welcome back. No. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Res Roots. We are here with Mr. Micah Dan Miller, right over here. Yay! Man, did we have to just convince this guy to get on the podcast? He just kept running around, always going back to San Carlos. What's in San Carlos that he just doesn't want to talk about? Res Roots.
Free healthcare.
No, we're really glad and happy that Micah was able to take his time away for us to just talk a little bit about him. You know, I think I've known him for about a year, and it's crazy. I mean, like how we met and just the adventures that we've been on together. It's been a blessing. It's been a huge grateful. I'm really thankful for the Lord, for Micah, and I can't express how much of a blessing he is in my life. So yes, Micah, tell us a little bit about yourself, age, if you want to do San Carlos Apache introduction. I don't know how that goes.
Yeah, man, I don't even know how to introduce myself. I do, it's written on paper somewhere, but I don't know what word for it.
Rusty Post-it.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, my name is Micah Miller. I'm from the San Carlos Apache tribe, and I'm 26 years old, and I'm living in Flagstaff now. Yeah, been living in Flagstaff for about a year, and that's all I got. I think that's all I got for right now.
Do you have a current favorite song that you've just been really jamming out to lately? Okay.
That one.
Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Take two.
Take two.
Okay. What's a favorite song you've been jamming out to lately?
Favorite song. Okay, so I've recently been feeling very nostalgic. So I found this song. It was actually on TikTok. This music artist, his name is Mark Barlow. He was singing a song from Hillsong from the 90s.
Wow.
And it's called Lord You Are Holy. So, yeah, I love chord progressions of it. Very dreamy. And so that song, it's only two verses.
Okay.
It's a really short song, but it's really beautiful. Yeah.
Okay.
So I like that song, and that's what I've been listening to like every chance I get.
Hey, check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Lord, You Are Holy.
All right. Cool. So I want to talk about how we first met.
Okay.
And the first impression. And so basically, I went to IBC 2023 from spring to fall, and then just did that year. Then I took a break in that spring of 2024. So I was like, all right, I just need some time away. But then I came back fall 2024. And so kind of new to everything again, the culture, environment. And so they place us, both Micah, myself, and our third roommate. His name's Kyle, but his name's really Tank. That's his name. So, but yeah, talk about you coming back. What was that for you? What did that look like?
Coming back?
Yeah, because you came right before the fall of last year. You took a couple semesters, but then took some time off.
Yeah, I originally started back in 2018 after I did a mission trip over the summer. And so I was going pretty strong 2018. And then when COVID came around, everything went online. Classes went online. But I did not want to do online. So I kind of chose to drop out pretty much. If I'm being honest, I just dropped out and left it alone and kind of started up my life. Yeah. And and then from there I was 2 years into my job, and things were happening in my life, and I just felt like, okay, maybe it's time I need to go back and finish what I started. So that part of coming back and finishing what the Lord had called me, where the Lord called me to, is kind of part of the reason, if not all the reason, why I came back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Do you remember that first time? Okay, I'll tell you. So what I remember was my RA, Jonathan, Mr. Jonathan Hines, saying he's the RA and he's telling us which room we're going to be in. Shows me to my room, and I think I might have been like the second or third guy there that shows up the first move-in day. So I was like, okay, cool. Who's my roommates? And he tells me you and Tank. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Don't know who these guys are, but looking forward to it. And all I kept hearing was like people saying, yeah, he likes music. This guy, he sings really good. He sounds really good. And like, that's all people told me about you. So I was like, okay, cool. And then when you showed up, I just remember you had this like big old case, this box rectangle case. And I kid you not, it looks like Hogwarts, like the way that the kids would travel. And like they would I don't know if you've seen Harry Potter. That's what his suitcase or his what do you call it?
A chest.
Yeah, like a straight up Minecraft chest. Like this guy just brings it and then sets it down and then he puts it in our room. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I introduce myself, and then he introduces himself, and I'm like, I hear you sing pretty good. I hear you like music. And you're like, that was like probably the first like legit how you answered. You're like, yep. And I was like, I think I'm annoying this guy, so I'll just kind of back off. Because we had like a dinner before, or that night, when everybody was starting to move in, and the RAs came together. Emmanuel, Jonathan, they threw like a little barbecue and had everybody eat outside. It was pretty cool. So that's when I was kind of talking with Micah. But yeah, what about you?
Okay. Yeah, before I came late because I was working, and I think the day before was my last day of work. So I was still packing up everything that I need to pack up. So when I got to school, the day I was supposed to leave, come back here to Flagstaff, I was like really like tired from packing because I was still packing. So I showed up, and I remember, I really don't remember going to the room. I don't remember. I think I pulled up by the resort,
okay,
the dormitory. I think I pulled up right there, and I remember being nervous. So I wasn't annoyed. I was nervous.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I was like, oh my gosh, because the people that I first went to school with in 2018, they were all gone.
Yeah.
By then,
Okay. Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm just like preparing myself, like, okay, this is gonna be a new student body, and you're gonna meet new people. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
And my introverted self, I was getting a little introverted, and I'm like, nah, I don't know if I'm ready for it, but I was nervous. I remember I was like nervous, but I was also trying to keep my composure and try to be welcoming.
Yeah.
But I remember that. I remember you sat down by me, and I was just like, hey.
Just a hot dog and potato chips.
Yeah, and I remember I was just nervous. I was really nervous.
Yeah.
Because of all the energy and everything that was happening, and
yeah.
But yeah.
And I got permission. You can move this if you want a little closer. Can you move it down? There you go. Okay.
Like that?
But push the arm in like this. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. And then push it just a little bit more.
Up.
That should be good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I got Tank's permission to tell this story. I legit texted him like 5 hours ago, and I was like, hey, is it okay for the podcast if we tell a story about our first impression of you?
Oh.
He said yes. So go for it. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
first impression of each other, not knowing each other, and then we're like, okay, there's 3 guys fitting into legit something like this size of a room.
Yeah,
trying to share 3, like, well, not all in one bed, but we're trying to share one room. We're trying to share one closet, and we don't know each other, so we're learning. But yeah, go for it. What do you remember?
I remember I was a little upset because I'm like, oh man, top bunk. Top bunk. I don't want top bunk. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sleep on the ground. Yeah. And so I threw the mattress on the ground. I'm like, I'm gonna stay here for a couple of days. You know, we're gonna get things adjusted. You know, I'm not gonna take this top bunk this semester. But anyways, yeah, I get ready for bed, and I was pretty tired. Yeah, I remember going to sleep and just thinking like, wow, I'm actually here in school. You know, thank you, Jesus, and whatnot. And then I crash out, and then I wake up like at 3 a.m. to like this guttural, just brutal snoring. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And I'm like, oh man, no. Yeah, it was crazy. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I really couldn't believe what I was hearing.
I have a picture too. You gotta remind me, Emmanuel, to send you the picture, because I like take a picture of the first night. First night, it's me on my bed and Tank, and then Micah is setting his mattress on the floor, and then his Minecraft chest right by his bed, and then like everybody's just getting ready for bed, but it's so quiet. Like we're so like awkward with each other. We don't even know what to say. Like we were just really quiet that night. So we go to bed. Yeah, legit. I expected to wake up not to a stampede or an avalanche in the middle of the night, and so I go to bed sleeping and thinking I'm fine, and I like jump up like I'm like resurrected, and then I'm like, what is this? And then I get so scared because I'm like, we're in danger. Like my mind was like fight or flight, and I was like ready to fight. And then I'm looking around with my eyes just all torn out, trying to look around, see what's going on, and then I just see Tank go, it's shit. But yeah, I just gotta sit there like he's lying, like he's not doing that right now, like just that's not what's happening. He's messing with us, but then he does it again. I was like, all right, this is what it is. And I sleep on the couch for a couple of days after that, but we figured it out. How did we solve this solution, Micah?
Well, I'm like, things are not gonna change. It don't matter how much we try to appeal, I know things are not gonna change. So I remembered Daniel Esplin. We went to a camp, and he gave me earplugs. Okay. And I'm like, why do I don't need this? But later that night, I needed it. And so I remembered, yeah, you can use earplugs to help you sleep. So I think it was like maybe the next day, I was like, I got to go to Walmart. I know I need to get that because I need to sleep good tonight. And so yeah, I went to Walmart, got the earplugs, and I think I finally got up on the top bunk. I just accepted reality, and I started doing that. And so like for a good, I don't know, well, yeah, for throughout the whole semester I did that.
Yeah.
But then you ran off. You're gone. So tell us what happened.
Fight or flight. It was flight after that. I couldn't fight it. Man, I was just like, I can't sleep. I feel endangered, and I legit tried silent, like noise canceling headphones. He just powered through that. He broke through those barriers, and I was like, man, he's keeping all the demons away at night. And so I was like, maybe this is just what the Lord has for him. So I just had to I felt like a divorced dad just sleeping on the couch for a couple of days. And then I started sleeping in one of the extra beds in the other room with the other roommates. And then it got brought up like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Do you know what's going on? And I was just like, it's the snoring. We love Tank, by the way. We love our brother. Yeah. He is just amazing. He's so wise, and he's really great at managing. Like, he's got good leadership skills. But man, he also manages a lot at night too. He's just able to speak loudly day and night. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that was the funny thing too about like me and Micah. Like I didn't really interact with him a lot, or Tank, and we just kind of learned. I thought that was really interesting. Like we just learned to like what was our, what we enjoyed, what was something that we connected on. It was so like natural. I don't know. For me, that nothing felt forced. Nothing felt like we had to be like brothers. We had to like it literally just like connected, and I thought that was so cool how that happened. But we love that story, and if you have any more further time, we could even tell the one that happened at camp. Do you want to tell that one really quick?
Yeah, so of course Kai does ministry, with the Broken Arrow ministry, and he was really, encouraging me and Tank to be a part of the ministry, and I was really hesitant. But at the very last minute, I was like, you know what, just do it, just try something new. And I didn't know Tank was going to be there either, and so he was there. So we all showed up in this one big, chapel, and we're meeting all these guys. We're getting ready for this winter retreat, to be with the kids and whatnot. And it's time to go to bed, and it slipped my mind. You would think that it's been a couple months, dealing with the snoring, so I would think whatever. But I forgot. It slipped my mind. I didn't have earbuds with me or anything like that. And then I remember I told Kai, I was like, man, these guys are gonna find out tonight. They're gonna find out tonight.
I look at him. That was a boba. Sorry, went in the wrong pipe. But he looks at me. Right, we're getting ready, and we're laying down our mattresses in the chapel on the floor, and that's how we sleep. That's how the guys sleep. And then Micah looks at me, and he's like, "That's all he says." He's like, "They're gonna find out tonight," and I'm like, and then like I'm like processing it like 5 seconds, and I'm like, oh, and I was like, oh no. Oh, and I was like, did you bring earplugs? And you're like, no. Did you? I was like, no. And then like I'm looking in my bag, and I find a case, and I'm like, thank the Lord, I still have mine. Micah didn't have his, unfortunately. It's so but because I had mine in, I couldn't hear what was going on. I couldn't hear much of the night activity. And so what was it that you heard from one of the other guys?
Yeah, we were all going to bed, and then I think Tank fell asleep first. And it's funny because the ceiling is vaulted, so it goes up at a point like that, and it's a big building. And out of all the places to sleep, he chooses to sleep in the center, dead center of the chapel, for good amplification of sound. And so he starts snoring, and then I remember one of the guys off to the left was like, "Oh man, who's that?" Oh, man. Yeah.
And then the next morning, everybody's getting ready in the guy's bathroom. They're all showering, and I'm in this shower, and I could just hear the guys talk like, like, man, did you guys hear that snoring last night? Like every guy said that they couldn't sleep because of the snoring. Oh man, I love that story so much. We love you, Tank. Yep. Thank you, brother. You keep all the nightmares away, and you protect us at night so no one comes lurking. No one steals our Xbox or our socks. You keep the thieves away.
Yes.
But anyway, it was really cool because I think it's been really interesting, both Micah and I, because I've gotten to know him more in his world and his past, his history. We're taking MTS. Was it MTS? Yeah. I don't know. I think MIT. MTS. We're taking Mend the Soul along with Tank. Us three. Joshua Ortiz is our mentor, and man, we've just been mending. We've just been mending the soul. We'll probably do an episode on that later, but yeah, I mean, I was really happy to be able to be like a witness about what God is doing in your life, Micah, because even just for you to share your gifts, especially in music, I feel like that's the one thing, I don't know if you're getting tired of it or like you're just like, you know what, like this is a part of me. And so you use it in a really powerful way. And, I can't tell you, the first time I heard Micah sing, God, like that was just angels, I was just waiting for the fog machine and for him to start levitating like a mega pastor and just go into the air. But it was so like angelic, and I can't tell you, like me, AJ, and Che, we look at each other, we're like, auto-tune. We're like, no way. This is like, oh my gosh. I get like, yeah. Have you seen Diary of a Wimpy Kid? No, you. Okay. Put that on the list. But there's this scene, and probably some of you guys have seen it. There's this scene where all these kids are auditioning for Wizard of Oz, and they're all singing, right? And turn around every now and then, and then like every single one of them's going through it. That was my life I'm on that stage as well. I sound like that, but I just heard people sing worship, and I'm like, yes, praise the Lord. That they're using the voice God gave them. But then in the scene in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Greg goes up and he just sounds like so angelic and like it's just like so like you could just fly.
Greg.
And that was you. That was you. I was like, yes, we finally have like just a beautiful.
We have a Greg. We found the Greg.
Praise the Lord, we got a Greg. But man, I would love to hear like what was it for you that like you just took that and you're like, I want this. Like, was it singing? Was it you heard a song from somewhere? Was it family? What really made you fall in love with music? Like the start.
Well, so I do come from a family of musical talent. So I guess I wouldn't want to say it's just within me. But I started right around 12, 11. I started with the drums. So I got my rhythm down. That's the way I see it, is I got the rhythm down first before I actually got into musical like abilities. Okay. But I really wanted to start playing piano just to create my own music. And I wanted to learn classical. So I told my dad one day, I was like, hey Dad, do you think you can I really want to learn how to play piano. Do you think you can just buy me something cheap, so I can start, just learning? And he's like, yeah, we'll go get you something. And they get me like this $500 piano, and I'm just like, I don't even know how to use it. It has all these sounds and everything. It's still, not really the best, but it, in a sense, to me, it was like the best at the time. And
how old were you around that time?
I was probably like 12. I'll say 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was 12 years old, and yeah, I really wanted to. That's kind of like where I started with a musical ability. I hadn't started singing yet. Yeah, I remember my dad would play the guitar in church, and the piano had speakers on it built in, so I would just literally put my head down to the keyboard and trying to match the tones that my dad was playing on his guitar.
Wow.
So I did that in church while church was going. And but for singing, that came later when I was probably 15, 16. I have this one memory. I was small. I think I was like maybe 7, And my dad, he used to write songs back in the 90s, and he made his own albums, wrote his own songs. So he had his own little recording station in the house. And I just got home from school, I remember that. And he gave me a mic. He just like this, he had headphones on, and he was doing this, and he gave me a microphone. He's like, "Here, sing. And he's like, "Sing, This Is the Day," and I'm like, and I was so shy. And I remember I was like, "This is the day." And then I just like started laughing, and I just ran off. Like, I don't want to sing that. But I think as I got, so fast forward now to when I started singing. Before I started singing, I really just loved the dynamics and I fell in love with the emotion of music and how it just really can just translate you into an atmosphere of awe. And I had a mentor in a sense. His name is Dallas, and he was the worship leader in our church, the church I was going to at the time. And I remember I made a mistake. I was trying to play all like exciting and whatnot, and my sister was playing the bass, and he was leading on guitar. He was leading the worship service, but I was trying to play something. I was trying to get him to play with what I was playing. And I remember my sister. It was like dead in the middle of the service. My sister was all like, "Micah, follow him." And she pointed to me, and she was all mad. She's like, "Follow him." And I was like, "Oh, okay. So, but what that taught me, it was embarrassing. But what that taught me was that to follow. Because I didn't know, I wanted to do my own thing, but I didn't know what, the worship leader was trying to do with, to help everyone, come to worship God. Yeah. And as I began to understand like the type of chords he was playing, the kind of dynamics, how loud he was playing or how quiet he was playing, that's when I started learning like, okay, this is an art. Yeah. This is something that you cultivate. And so I started learning that, and I started falling in love with the songs, and there were some songs I started falling in love with, and I knew I could sing. I can hear the, I could hear the melodies, and I had the ability. So I wasn't the best singer when I first started, but I think over time, as I just really just poured in my heart to doing that and understanding, what I'm doing is not just for an emotional sake, but also, it's a thing of worship. And so, yeah, it really, getting into that singing part, I just, I wanted to, train my voice. So I would do vocal exercises. I would, do crazy, runs, try to do it. I couldn't do it at first, but, it's just that exercise moment that I was trying to do. And, later on as time went on, of course, that singing developed, we'll say.
Yeah. Cool. Man, has it developed? Oh my goodness. It's amazing. If you ever have a time that you've been blessed to hear the voice that God has given Micah, it's amazing. I personally love it because of how much I feel that there's a heart behind that voice. And I think that, from whatever you want to share, I would love to ask, like, what would you say makes you like continues for you to use this gift for the Lord? Like, is it just straight up just because you love God, or is there something else that, nothing that overtakes that, obviously, right, your love for the Lord, but what else sort of fuels that?
Well, I believe that, this is what, I was learning how to play drums, and my dad sat me down at the table one time. It was before evening service. And he started talking to me about, I think it was David or somebody. No. He actually started telling me the story of the little drummer boy. Yeah. And he was like, Mike, I was like 11. He's like, you remember the little drummer boy? You know how he played his best, for Jesus in that movie. And I was like, yeah, because I seen the little claymation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he was telling me, he said, when you go up there to play, he said, that's how you should be in here. He said that in here, in your heart. You play from your heart and you play your best. You do your best for the Lord. And so I carried that and translated that in different aspects of music. And there was another brother who I wasn't singing at the time, but I was playing, and he said to me, he said, he's like, I really like the way you play, and I really enjoy it when you play during, my preaching, because for him, he believed that, music, there's this portion in the Bible where, I believe Saul called for a musician, and that musician played, and that was David that played, and the evil spirits left.
Yeah.
So he kind of shared with me that and encouraged me, to keep playing like that and keep going into that, because when you operate with that understanding and you're playing, it'll drive, the enemy away. And so for me, I'm like, wow, okay. And I really like that, because, I want to kick the devil out, I'm like, I want to kick him out. I want to kick him out with, with music, with worship, with, praise.
Wow.
And so that passion just grew deeper, because now this is like, okay, God is I am being an instrument for God to destroy, the enemy's terrain,
Yeah.
And so I do believe that, in part of music, it creates an atmosphere of healing. It's some, I don't know. I mean, I wish I could point out the Bible verses here and there and says this and that, but I feel like because worship is such a raw and intimate moment, and when you accommodate that with music, there's some aspect, I believe, in the supernatural where the Holy Spirit comes and soothes the soul and brings healing in the soul. And I'm not saying that just to say, because this is what I think it is. I actually held that belief during the time when I lost my brother, and during the time when my parents were separated, and during the time when it was just me and my sister and nobody else. I had no one else to really go to but just the worship songs. And so I had the ability and I had the voice. So I would take that before the Lord and just love on God, just love him, even though like my heart was hurting and this and whatnot, and I didn't do it just one time. I would do it all the time when I come back from school, because I wasn't the popular kid. I wasn't, I didn't have the group. I wasn't a part of the group. So, after school, I just came home. And so I really cultivated that art of worshipful music. And I believe that really carried me, and it helped me, and it I mean, what you see today, what you hear today is because of what was being laid years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think it makes sense for music or some sort of art to be like an outlet for, especially like grief, like to lose someone and to have, because that brings high emotions. That brings, it's such a abnormal thing for us to experience when we lose somebody, when grieving happens. And so the way that we respond is normal. Of, the 5 steps of grieving, or 5 stages.
Right.
It's like you're shocked, you don't know, you can't believe it happened, and then you start to get angry, and you go through all of that. But I think for some people, especially in art, because I speaking for myself, that's usually what an outlet. That's what it transforms inside. It has to come out. But in the way that it does, some people exercise, some people do something as an outlet to reveal that sort of emotion and that pain. But I think for you is it's like, would you say like it would be music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I would agree. And I like that too. I wanted to say that, people have their different outlets, different ways of getting what's in them out. And, just the way God created me, this was one of the ways I could get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like with especially with music, I mean, and worship, because you've been able to lead and play for many different events or occasions. Has there ever been a time, or like what would you say is like the most challenging thing that you come across sometimes? Is still get nervous, or maybe pride creeps in, or I don't know, something that sort of, I would say, like, and you can share however much, but like Satan just kind of throws at you to try to get you to stop doing that.
Yeah, okay, so I'll talk about this time. I was leading worship. I was a worship leader when I was like 18 for a church that I was going to. And I remember every time I would lead worship, I would get down and I would feel so bad. I would feel horrible. Like that feeling when you've done something wrong and people see it.
Okay.
And you like know that those people are judging you.
Yeah.
I would feel that, and it would like really just grip me. And I didn't know why that happened. I didn't know why it was like that. But I remember one time I was leading worship at a camp meeting, and they called me up and they're like, "Micah, you're gonna lead worship tonight?" And I'm like, "Okay, all right." And I was so insecure though, and so I think and I think I was insecure because of my relationship with God wasn't really good at that time.
Okay.
So I remember, I led worship, and I remember I went home. I went to my car, and I was just crying in my car because I just felt like I just ruined the whole service. And I had to get a understanding of, this is where I think my desire of, okay, what is biblical worship? What is true worship? Is it just pure emotions? Or is there some type, or is it more,
Okay.
I started kind of like stretching my understanding now of what it means to worship biblically. And so, I think even though, like I said, that, my emotions, I put my emotions, my heart into that, I think there's a sense of self-control, and there's a sense of wisdom that we need to use when operating with using music in worship.
Okay.
Because we can get too emotional and go crazy, or we can get, too dry and be too boring.
What? Yeah. Black or white.
Yeah. But there's a sweet spot in the middle that we can have. And so for me, I think that's when I was feeling that way. I think Satan really used that to just say, because I remember I was believing like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this. This is, look at these people. That's the thing that really got me. Look at these people. They're not enjoying it. They're not singing with me. They're not crying. They're not lifting their hands when I sing. So everything became about the audience that was before me.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's the thing I had forgotten from the very beginning when I was developing my foundation.
Dang. And
so when I had to go back to Jesus, and I had to understand that, when we worship God, it's when we come together to sing and to have these musical moments in the presence of the Lord, that's who we're doing it for, is for the Lord. That's who we're when we present musical talents, we're giving it back to God. We're presenting it to God. And so Jesus is the audience, nobody else. And it had to make sense because, like, these songs are all about God. These songs are all about Jesus. They're not about, so-and-so did this and did that. I mean, they do include others at times, but essentially the song is to glorify God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, and I think, and this is just my personal opinion, I feel like it's because of the secular music and the way that it's the way that it appears, the way that it has appeared. I'm pretty sure it dates way back, but the way that people it was like entertainment. You know what I mean? If you sounded good, if you played good, entertainment, straight up performance. Like that's for my viewing, that's for my enjoyment. I can just sit here, watch you perform, and like I think that's always been how it has been for like thousands of years, and it continues to do that. And then now in this day and age, contemporary, like sometimes even Christian music can seem like that, where it's like a performance. And so it's just, I can see where that gray area it can be kind of blurred into, okay, it's different for like the audience to be like, okay, am I here to listen to this person and see how good they sound, and to judge them in a sense of like, do they sound really good, do they sing my favorite song, whatever. But then there's the other side of the seat of the person that is actually worshiping, that is actually playing and singing, and it's like, okay, am I doing it for them, am I doing it for myself, of like, am I gonna get the that sort of like self-righteous feeling good about myself, that I sound good, oh, I played that well. And I would ask, like, what would you say helps you like discipline yourself into thinking, it's not like you said, you went back to Jesus, and in a sense I feel like, does that mean, what does that mean like for you personally?
What that means is,
or at least what does that look like?
Okay. Going back to Jesus, I think that I'll start with meaning.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that, that means when you recognize the issue, like, okay, I feel hurt, I feel upset with myself, like how I was feeling upset. I was crying, went back to my car crying because I felt like I didn't do a good job. Okay, I'm recognizing something within me. And okay, what is causing that? Okay, so-and-so wasn't lifting their hands, so-and-so wasn't crying, so-and-so didn't say, hey, good job.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm trying to look at people to approve of what I'm doing for the Lord. So it starts with your mind.
Yeah,
I would say, you got to start processing that, like, okay, this is what's happening. And of course the enemy, he'll throw things in your mind and he'll egg it on and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it starts, I would say, recognizing it, getting the mindset, changing your mindset. And when you change your mindset, take it before the Lord. Just as simple, when you, wherever it is, maybe if you need to find a private place, or a lot of my prayers sometimes happens in the car or when I'm running. And at that time, I think I was running a lot. So, I would run so far, get halfway of my run, and I would just pray to the Lord, and I would cry out. I mean, I'm an emotional person. I recognize that. So I would just let my emotions out before the Lord and tell him this is what's happening. And I know I need to change this. So help me, Lord, change to view this differently.
Yeah.
To because I think I believe the Holy Spirit gives us the power to have that change of mindset, because he gives us the mind of Christ.
Yeah.
So, it's to be practical about it. So when you go into a worship service again, because for my case, I had to go back into it again. I couldn't say, I give up. I had to go back in, but this time I had to be gracious to myself.
Yeah.
Like, if they don't lift their hands, if they don't respond to what you're singing about, that's okay. If if you don't feel like if you don't sense approval from the crowd, that's okay, because you're not doing it. I had to remind myself that. Like, I literally had to go back, after I get off, like, Micah, you're not doing this to please them.
Yeah.
You're doing this to please God.
Mm.
And you're not doing it to earn something from the Lord, because God already takes pleasure in you. God already delights in you. Woo. And so,
Yeah.
so you're just responding to what is already happening in your life.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
wow.
So I had to talk to myself like that. I talk to myself all the time. Probably the craziest person that talks to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it, I think that's it.
No, that's good. That's really good. I think that's important for a lot of people to understand. Is it goes both sides, for the person that is singing, that is playing the instruments and stuff, and then for the person that's responding to what it means for them to have that moment of worship. And I think there's times where I know I find myself where it's like I focus more on like notes. I focus more on like, oh, that could have sounded better if they did this, or if they came in like build up right here. And I'm always thinking that way as well. And I don't know. I think sometimes it kind of robs me sometimes of like just being in the moment. Just put your producer and artist cap away and just put on your worshiping. You know what I mean? But even then, it shouldn't be different. I think the way that you it respond to worship music, to specific time of musical worship. That's specifically what we're talking about. But like to just have that moment of like confession, of coming to the altar, even just reading the lyrics. Sometimes like just reading, oh man, about our God, and then you just like start to remember things in your past, remember the struggles you're currently going through, and it just makes you even more want to sing, and it just moves you that way, because you're reminded of the God you're worshiping. You know what I mean? It's not a performance. It's not a time to say, hey, look at me. And I think that's something I've always found interesting, is the way that people respond sometimes about like just going down on their knees, or they're throwing their hands up, and sometimes people see that as like, oh man, what is this? Like, tell them to sit down, or like, you know what I mean? Like there's different ways people respond. Some people just stand there and they don't even sing. They just like, man, like just, you wonder like, is this actually moving you? But it's like, it could be different for them. It could be a whole different experience for them. And I don't know. I think I've always found that really interesting, because I also think like that I think the emotions, sometimes does play a part in how people respond to the worship, how they let truth affect them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because if you hear something about an almighty God, like God of wonders beyond our God, and see, how holy he is, and you're like, what does that mean? Okay, he's holy, like he's God overall, and he's so powerful, yet he loves us, and he sent his son to die for us. When you like comprehend that, and you're moved, and I think because of that truth, then it moves you. It makes you sort of like give you that like, okay, how do I want to respond now? How do I want to respond to that? Do I just want to like, thanks, like, I'll see you next Sunday, or like, man, like, oh my gosh, like I personally find my moments of like, oh gosh, like I messed up here, and I screwed up here. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. And then I just feel really bad, but then I'm reminded of his grace, and then that just pulls me out of that. And I think it's worship is truth bombs. It's truth in melodic and rhythm and in a beautiful way. And it's like your emotions play in with music, and it's sort of like a bridge. And I think that response is however you feel. But like, even then, worship isn't just music. I think that's a big part as well, is it's not just music. And I honestly think there's a lot of things that are worship. I mean, even just living, how you talk, how you think, all goes under like okay, is this glorifying God? Am I recognizing who God is for me? Am I doing this for the Lord? Do everything for the glory of the Lord. And so for you, and kind of about to end the podcast, but what would you say besides music is another way, a form of worship for you?
A form of worship, I would say, is a form of worship would be there's a lot. You can a form of worship. I think a form of worship would probably, and just to go right off the bat, is having a mind, to keep your mind on the Lord. Because like you were saying, worship is more than music. Worship starts way before you sing the first song on Sunday. Dang. All that you've built up, that obedience, obeying the Lord, and not obeying the Lord out of fear, but obeying the Lord out of gratitude and love for him. So I think how we do that is by reminding ourselves and constantly being aware, constantly reminding ourselves of God's presence in and around us. Because that's important. That's powerful. When you're constantly training yourself, to be aware of God's presence always. That's going to help you in a lot of areas in your life. And then, I don't know, this is just me and how I think of it. When you apply worship music to that, or when you worship corporately, I think that creates a unique atmosphere of the presence of God in the body of Christ. Because you're understanding that the presence of God is not only just in me, but he's around me, and you're constantly walking in that. And it helps with your obedience, that God's presence is here. So, God's presence is around me today. So he loves me. His love is here in his presence. His love is there in his presence. His goodness is there in his presence. His healing is there in his presence. There's joy in his presence. There is sufficient grace in his presence. There's mercy in his presence. There is security. And you need that and that's already in you as a believer. You already have that because of what Jesus did on the cross. So constantly walking in that, every day, just reminding yourself and just being aware. I mean, yeah, it's just simple. It's simple as saying, Lord, I recognize your presence here today. I recognize you, God. That's something I started doing too when after I got out of that whole insecurity thing with leading worship. I started talking to myself and I started speaking it. Lord, and it's not because, when I speak it, it's really going to like a name it, claim it thing. Okay. I was just reminding myself that I need to speak this. I need to do something physically, but that doesn't mean that it's not a if or how do I say it? So let me say it this way. I would speak it, God, I recognize your presence here. But it's not when I say it that God's presence is going to manifest now. Yeah. It's just a reminder. It's just saying, okay, Micah, you need to remember that God's presence was already here. But now you need to just say it. It's just, I don't know, it's just a practical thing I would do. Yeah. And so, I would say just walking in the presence of God and just reminding yourself of his presence. There's a powerful thing in doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, man, I think we could go on. I'm not even sure how long we went. but hey, Emmanuel's giving me the finger. 1 hour. Okay. He's giving me the finger, Jason. I'm just kidding. 1 hour. He's saying 1 hour. We went 1 hour. I think that's a new record for this season. And so no one can beat that record. What? No? Aaron last year. Oh. 1 hour and 35. All right. So we got 40 more minutes.
Yeah. What else you want to talk about?
No, but I really appreciate your time, Micah. I really thank you for everything that you've shared. And if I'm being honest, I think we seriously could talk a whole lot more. I mean, the classes we're taking now, because we're in the same grade, we're taking the same classes, and we're enduring the same, what would you call it?
The same pressure.
Yes. Just man, we're learning a whole lot in many classes. And I think one last question I would have for you is what's something God has been encouraging you with lately?
I think the Lord has been encouraging me by, I'll say it this way. God, I believe God has been using people, his body around me, to be an encouragement to me. Because that's, given my background and where I come from, that's wasn't common. And so I'm not really like welcoming to that per se. But the challenge for me too was to trust God by trusting his people. And so, yeah. And because I took those steps to trust God by trusting his people and sharing my story and being open and honest and, sharing my struggles, I really praise God that, his people are responding. If God had a body, which he does, Jesus, but if he was physically here, I can pretty much say that I have felt his love in that way.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's good. He's good. Yeah.
It's that honey badger love.
The honey.
It's the honey. You're getting the honey of the badger. All right, cool. Well, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing everything about your passions with music and how God's using you in that way and in many ways, obviously. And, I'm excited to see what God continues to do for you. And, man, just many blessings for you and your family. And just so excited, really so excited to see more growth. And I can feel the Paul and Barnabas kind of friendship and brotherhood here. And I'm really glad that we're in the same class, same, just in the same part of life, I would say. And so, yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Got anything else? Farewells, benedictions?
Thank you, Res Roots, for taking a chance on me. Well, no, I really appreciate being here. So, yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your fundraising. My Cash App link will be in the link bio. We have our school bills that we need to pay off. So it would really help me so that we can give these kids more Chick-fil-A down the street, some more Dutch Bros, and we can worship the Lord also in eating food.
Yes.
Amen. Biga, Hagone. How do you say deuces in San Carlos? An Apache.
Anagodzil. Anagodzil. Sorry.
Anagodzil.
We'll see you later.
Bye. Wave of the camera.